favorite Thanksgiving food?
Yeah. So, well, I got so that's a good question. So let me think about this. Well, I'm usually with my mom, and the best thing my mom does is and it's a unique dish, but it's really good. She does a squash casserole that it's a favorite in our family.
After the last game, you were there singing, they were singing the song, and you were there with your family. What were the emotions you were having?
I was -1, so I had one that my oldest didn't come out. She doesn't. She tries to stay out of the. But yeah, four of us. No, I was just happy for our seniors, really. I think this has been a long year, and we haven't played as well as home, and so it'd been a while since we'd actually done country roads at home, and that's because we hadn't played as well as at home as we're capable of. So no, not real emotions. More probably. There's some relief when you win too. I mean, in pure honesty, but I think I was more happy for our seniors in the moment. I was kind of laughing at Garrett taking his victory laps, but that was probably more sense than anything.
Question about this game Saturday. They've got a huge disparity first quarter. Is that a function?
They start fast. Yeah, they've done that, and if you look at it, that's been something that probably over the last few head coaches, they've done it. They've continued that with Joy and with Coach Kidley there too. But since Coach McGuire's been there, they've started fast. But even before he was there, that's something they did a good job of. And they're unique offensively. They usually give you something different. Whether it's different play concept, pass, run, screen, different motions, just different adjustments. And you can try to practice the tempo they play at, but it's hard. So I think that catches people too. But you're right; they've started really fast.
So I guess it's getting adjusted to the tempo usually throughout the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's a factor in it. Yeah, they do, and but that's something that they've done now for several years in a row.
How much does that bring the overall depth of the defense? I mean, you'll probably need to play more guys.
Yeah, they're going to play snaps. I think they're one of the top teams in the country in a number of snaps played. And so we are. I think you have to be conscious of that early in the game. And especially D-line wise, we'll need to rotate early in the game, get more guys in. We've been playing 4 linebackers all year. I think that's probably pretty good. It's safety is where we don't have a ton of depth. And so most of those guys have played almost every snap, since Burks got hurt. So at this point, it is what it is. But the people that are ready to play and that have played a lot of football for us, we'll rotate them in early and try to watch snap counts, especially in the first, second quarter. Bobby, you're going to ask a question?
You saw the scores this weekend.
Yeah.
And, you had BYU and Colorado losing in our conference, and all across the country, ranked teams lost, and it wasn't really that rare an occurrence. What has happened in football? You got any feelings on why it's not Ohio State?
Yeah. Well, the teams that have been traditionally really good are still traditionally really good. I think that a couple things. Later in the year, more things like that occur, and I think there's a lot going on around these guys. Decisions on the draft. Decisions on training, decisions on playing in the postseason, decisions on portal or no portal. What do you think their NIL value is? These are all things, and what's happened is it's all creeped earlier and earlier. And these are things that each of the individual players are things that they're having to, deal with, which it's a distraction. And so I think you're seeing a little bit some inconsistent play because of that. And I think, too, there's where the dominant teams used to have all the depth. Now they don't have as much depth. So those guys that were maybe second, third team there are now at other places, and they're really good players. And so I think I think that those schools still have the elite talent, and they have a lot of elite talent, but I think guys that were maybe second or third team have gone to other places, and they're getting reps and they're getting experience, and they're really talented players too. So I think it's just it's spread out a little bit more. And then the travel's a factor too. You look at teams that are traveling, and it wears on you as you go through the year. You know, one game's fine, especially if you have a bye week the next week. But what happens is that's a lot over the course of the year, and I think the guys get tired. And so I think those are – I don't know if any one of those is the exact reason, but I think all of those things are factors is maybe why there's some differences. Huh?
Has it been good for college football?
You know, I don't know. Like, I try not to I try not to complain about it. You know, it kind of is what it is. You know, I don't know if it's good or bad, and nor am I to judge. You know, I think it's just kind of the world we live in now. You know, and it's kind of we've been in upheaval kind of for the last 3 or 4 years, and I think it'll continue for another several years. But I don't know if it's good or bad. It's just that's what we are in the midst of right now, and I don't think it'll change any time in the near future.
To that end, do you have any thoughts on the situation with the Big 12 as a whole? Because there's an argument of Big 12 has more depth, but maybe not an elite team. Maybe it doesn't deserve the bye in the playoff, things like that. Do you have any?
No, I don't really have any feel because I don't study the other conferences enough to have a good feel for them. You know, I think that. I think we have good depth in our league. I think we're rare in the fact that everybody within the league's competitive. I think there's some really good teams. We've beaten up on ourselves a little bit.
Is that a concern at all?
No, I think for us, I think for the Big 12, we just got to win some games in the playoff. I think that's what, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. But for us, big picture, like we're just trying to get to our 6th. If we can get to our 6th in the league, I can't figure out all those tiebreakers. If you all can, more power to you. But we're mathematically alive, I guess. That's not something we're talking about. But we just want to we got a chance to finish strong here, and that's kind of what we're locked in on.
Is this the week you can go over on the travel roster?
We can.
Okay, so that'll help a little bit, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then just for the way you all played in the road this year, focused, all that stuff, and good results. You mentioned like that environment, last game, there's no school this week. It's earlier start, I guess, technically,
Yeah.
but like just confident and curious how they respond because it's been so well, but this is unique too, it seems.
Yeah. So we got a chance here to finish with a really good Big 12 road record, and our guys have handled it real well. You know, this is a unique trip for a lot of reasons. We're playing at 11 a.m. You know, it's an early kick. I think a lot of times in these early kicks, it's the team that's ready to go at kickoff are the ones that have success. We practice in the mornings, so it shouldn't be much different to their body clock. But we've got to have a really good week of preparation. We got to handle the trip well, and then we got to go perform in a unique environment. And so there's I think it's a challenge to go play on the road. Our guys have accepted that challenge, and they got to do it one more time.
9 days away from signing day, so your thoughts as that approaches?
Yeah. So I'll be truthful. Like I'm kind of, I know when it is, and I spend a bunch of time on the phones and things like that. But I'm trying to live what I preach to our players, which is, man, we're worried about Texas Tech, and there's a bunch of things that are kind of after that, but that's kind of what we're locked in on. I'm aware of it. I talk to them. We had some official visitors last weekend, but the main focus is Saturday at 11.
Okay. Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank y'all.